have Minecraft Escape. Oh, I have the Minecraft Escape one where you teach all the redstone and command blocks things. And then I have my Ultimate Minecraft Modder. I'm pretty familiar with both of them. I at least the content.
At least the content. Okay, that's what's most important because one of the good things about this job is that you have a lot of freedom with how you teach and the pace that you teach and the manner in which you teach. As long as you're getting these topics covered and teaching like in line with the curriculum, right? So we'll get into that. I'm gonna pull up some stuff. Michael, do you want to go over some things?
Yeah, so when you get to your class, like we talked about in the first big meeting, you want to make sure that you're there at least around 30 to 20 minutes early the first day to make sure you get your bearings of the class and all that. When you walk in, they'll have either Andres will send you a sheet on who's all going to be in your class, or you'll have to,
Pick one up.
or they'll give you a sheet, the people working there, or both. But it's important to like kind of know who's in your class. And if someone isn't in your class, just kind of make sure that we don't kick anybody out. We want everybody to feel included and kind of write down their name. And you can email me or Andres, and we'll make sure that they get in the list. But that list is also just super important for when you guys will eventually have breaks in each of your camps. You'll have in halfway through the day of your camp, you get to take them out for a little break or like a snack, and then they go on a break. And some schools don't want you to go outside, but most do. And having that list is important just to remember who's all in your class and when you're calling them in and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I'm sure we'll get into some of that stuff later. But when calling people in, make sure to like set boundaries and rules. Like, this is gonna be my call. Like Mr. Peterson's class, come on in, so that everybody knows it's your class that needs to come in, and that everybody's kind of paying attention to that. And making sure you set big like boundaries first. Like these are the rules of my class. This isn't just like a summertime fun. Like we're still using the classroom. We're not just kind of this is still a classroom, and we need to respect everybody's rules like we're in school. So one thing that the students really remember is 1, 2, 3 eyes on me, because they've been kind of taught that their whole school year and stuff like that. So it's kind of like pre-trained in their brain. So kind of using that to your advantage can help manage a lot of your students. Yeah.
Right. Like you mentioned, your students' age ranges will typically be from around 8 to 12. That's where you're gonna see most of the students are at. Maybe you might have some outliers, but pretty unlikely. Um, yeah, you have essentially the freedom to control how the flow of your days go with timing of cleanup, with timing of introduction, when you want to take them outside for a break. It's generally recommended that you take them halfway through, but having a set time that's exactly in the middle of your start and end time, it usually doesn't happen like that because it's an organic setting. The students, they want to finish up their projects. Usually you're going to give them maybe 5 more minutes. Maybe you'll wrap up a little bit early, come to an earlier stopping point. It's entirely dependent on you. So that's one important thing that I must note. You don't have like a supervisor watching over you at all times. You don't have like a clock in, clock out, like somewhere to punch in and out of specifically. You are allowed a lot of freedom, but in return, all you have to do is be prepared and try your best to teach these courses. And it's ordinary and normal for you to be nervous or a little bit like hesitant on your first or second camps. Usually you'll have a assistant or someone that's taught the camps last year with you. Usually your first week, no one's going to throw you to the sharks, but you tend to figure it out fast because your first week will teach you a lot. You want to make sure you have a general understanding or an idea of how long it takes you to introduce yourself to a class of like 10 students. You want to have a general idea of how long it takes you to remember their names individually, because you're going to want to know their names over the course of the week. The students are inevitably going to bond with you. They're going to remember you. You're going to bond with them. It's a very like fulfilling aspect of the job. So it's important to know that. It's important to note that we must teach the curriculum, and the students must get something out of the class. It's not like a summer playground kind of thing, but at the same time, you're not like such a strict teacher, and you don't have to really come down with like the hammer of Thor and be like, these are the rules, right? Like you can allow some leniency to an extent. Don't let them walk all over you. Obviously, you want to establish that you are the teacher, you are the instructor. They have to listen to what you say, because you are responsible for picking them up from, not picking them up, but like taking attendance in the beginning of the classroom, in the beginning of the class, making sure all the students are there during the break. When you go outside and when they come back in, you have all your students, and that they get properly picked up. Some schools vary. If you go to a big school that's been doing it for a while, and they have a bunch of STEM camps, usually they'll take the kids off your hands as soon as the time is up, and you're free to leave as soon as you clean up or and whatnot. Usually, or some schools will be a little bit smaller, which this may be their third or fourth year doing it. They don't have that many STEM classes, and so it'll be a little bit more on your hands to make sure that all your students are getting picked up in a timely manner. Obviously, if like parents are running late, you can kind of talk with a coordinator, and there will be people there to help you, but that's usually pretty rare cases. But just in general, you are responsible for these students, like learning the content and also staying safe and having some fun and whatnot. With that being said, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go through the camps that you're going to teach, and just through the folder that's going to be shared to you. And let's see, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so I don't know if it'll be named teachers still, but essentially you'll get this entire thing, which has all of the Minecraft camps, Roblox camps, whatever camps that are STEM, they're in here. Even if you don't teach them, you'll get them. You'll get this whole thing. An important thing you should read is all of this. Well, maybe not the IT message for camps. Let's see. Yeah, this is just for the IT department, but you want to go through the quick guide to teaching young students. Like I said, your class age ranges are going to be relatively young. 8 to 12 is what you expect. So just a bit of what teachers have accumulated in the past years of teaching these classes. Like I said, it's a pretty organic environment. It's hard to put set in stone instructions for how to exactly teach a classroom. It's kind of up to you. And so the preparation, you want to make sure you're prepared for the classroom. You have all your laptops, all your mouses, all your cables, all your extension cords. You don't want to be in a setting where you are in front of 20 students. They're waiting for you to teach them how to do something on the screen or something, and then two of your students don't have a laptop or something. That's the worst case scenario, really. Just be prepared, but if anything out of the ordinary happens that like truly like wasn't really your fault, and something unfortunate just happened, like I don't know, someone's laptop just like dies or gets broken or something like that, you get into contact with Michael, and Michael helps you out pretty quick there. So not to panic or like scare you or anything like that. Usually just as long as you're prepared and the laptops are charged, everything goes really smoothly. Students, behavioral issues, you shouldn't see too many behavioral issues. If you do, you get in contact with the coordinators or the whoever's running that the whole camp system at the school, then they'll solve it for you. It's not really your job to try to discipline, I don't know, extremely disobedient children, or not children, students. But in general, like basic behavioral issues like, hey, stop talking between amongst each other, I'm trying to give instruction. You want to make sure you're not harsh or mean or anything like that, but you're strict. You don't want to be walked over, and when you're giving instructions, if nobody listens, it slows down the flow of the content, it slows down the flow of the learning process, you lose a bit of control, and it kind of snowballs from there, and it's hard to get control back of a classroom. You want to make sure you use whatever you want to use, like 1, 2, 3 eyes on me. If you want to use something else that you think would work better, and like I said, over the next couple weeks when you start teaching and when you get into the flow of things, you're gonna have this figured out. You're gonna know exactly how long it takes you to do this, how long it takes you to do this, how you get your students' attention, how you make sure they listen, how you how you interact with them in general. And so these are just things that you should keep in mind. Technical problems. It's a very useful skill to be quick on your feet and to be able to problem solve at this job, because you will run into small little errors here and there often. Like I said, it's an organic setting, but that it should not be anything that's out of the ordinary and that will be extremely difficult to problem solve on the spot. Maybe, I don't know, you need an extra mouse and you can just go to the school coordinator and say, can I borrow a mouse or something? And they'll help you out immediately with that, or if, I don't know, a student can't connect their laptop to the Wi-Fi and they're a little bit behind from the rest of the classroom, you just help them catch up. And it's those kind of small things. Tips, handling special needs students, interacting with students. Again, you can just read through this on your own time. It's pretty just self-explanatory things, and also just advice in general from all previous instructors. Again, a teaching guide. You can look through this, or you should look through this. Just lesson planning, just like mentally preparing to know what you're going to say. You want to be credible in front of these students. You don't want to give too many I don't know answers. There will be some weird questions that students ask you about your camp, and this is usually because they're curious, or they genuinely don't know, or anything. They will ask you some out of the ordinary questions, and it's okay to not necessarily know the answer right away, as long as you're able to problem solve this. As you can look it up on your phone, you can look it up on your teacher's laptop, but just try to make sure if a student asks you a question, you're able to answer it, especially if it's related to the content that you're teaching. But yeah, the problem solving aspect to it, once again, you're allowed to use your phone, you're allowed to use your laptop to be able to answer any kind of weird question. This is a laptop info. All the laptops have the same password. It's 5683. And almost every single password that you will ever need to use is policy 24 spend. These are just the accounts. I doubt that you'll need Microsoft and YouTube accounts, but they're there just in case if you ever do. And that's all for all teachers. All STEM teachers have to go through that, because it's important for our instructors to know about it. And so you said escape room, right? Minecraft escape room?
Yep.
Okay. And so we used to have a lot of papers and binders and paper instructions, and it's just better to go with PowerPoint slides or Microsoft slides or Google slides, sorry. And one good thing about this is that if you, for some reason, are unable to like teach, if you get nervous, if you run out of things to say, if you don't really know, you can throw this on the smartboard. You can throw this presentation up on a smartboard, and it kind of flows through the curriculum itself, and it should be, there's videos that you can play on the big screen. There's like, you can read through, there's more videos. We'll go through these one by one, but my point being, if worse comes to worse and you can't actually like engage in the teaching process, if I don't know, for whatever reason, this is your lifeline, right? You can just have this on the board and the students can follow along. It's going to be pretty self-explanatory. So this is the overview of the week. Again, since it's an organic setting, you want to follow these in a general sense. Maybe some of your classes will take longer to like finish creating their obby, and it'll seep into day 2. That's fine, right? Like if some classes will finish creating their obby on day 1, and they would want to start escape room worlds on day 1, and that's fine too. It's kind of up to you to control the pace of your class, and if they're a little bit faster than you'd expect, you can adjust to this. If they're a little bit slower, you can also adjust to this by, you know, taking your time and making sure you're thorough and whatnot, if that's what the class or your students require. But in general, so day one is going to be introduction, obby worlds, and they're going to start creating their obby, and they're going to finish their obby actually. Day two, escape room worlds, create escape room. Day three, command blocks and extras. And then day four is going to be more of it's going to be much easier than the first 3 days because there's a lot less of you in front of the classroom teaching and stuff. It's going to be, the students are going to have a chance to show off their final product on the big screen, come up to the front board, plug their computers into the HDMI and present to the classroom. Once again, these are general guidelines. So if you have students that are uncomfortable sharing in front of a large classroom setting, it's okay. You don't have to really enforce this, right? You can just, this is the freedom of the instructor. And this is why, you know, you are hired for this position, like, because Andres must think that you can do this, right? So yeah, I'm sure you can. And so just being able to see whether or not your student wants to present, what you can ask them, and obviously like promote collaboration, promote just working together and like all kind, like you don't want your students to sit there in silence all 4 days and you know, be quiet. You want to foster like a engaging atmosphere. Moving on, instructor checklist. These are pretty basic. They're just there for you to make sure you have everything. But these are all, once again, really self-explanatory. Laptops, and they're charged, and you're not going to need to update them at the site. Everything is on the desktop, pretty accessible, enough mouses, chargers, and extension cords. And you generally have a good idea of how like the PC file system works in Minecraft, and not the entire PC file system, but just how files work on a computer. Must do's, these are the same for all of them. All the camps have this slide because this is just again the must do's. This is gonna set you up for success and make your day a lot easier. I'm speaking from firsthand experience with you know, being underprepared will add to your stress and give you unnecessary stress, if anything. So day one, introductions, obby world, and create obby. So let me see. It's been so long since I made this. Michael, have you gone through this?
What's that? No, I haven't gone through those.
Okay,
yet. I
yeah,
haven't got this one.
it's been a while since I made these, but essentially you'll go through all of this in day one. Here's an example timeline. Again, these are general times. You may deviate 10 minutes from these. It's fine. But this is your first day laid out. You're gonna show them what obbies are. You're gonna have your own obby that you can show every week in the beginning to the classroom, like, hey, this is what an obby is. Are you familiar with what an obby is?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty familiar with most of the content.
Okay, sweet,
yeah.
sweet. Yeah, like I wasn't familiar with this, so I just wanted to make sure that you kind of understood what I was saying. But yeah, so they're doing explorations, they're gonna play different obbies. You can allow them to play several obbies because the idea is for the students to get excited about making their own projects, right? They come into this Minecraft escape room. Yeah, they're gonna create their obbies. Or play people's obbies or play your obby on the teacher's laptop and whatnot for a little bit of time, and then you're gonna get them started because you want them kind of excited about creating their own version of stuff. And then you're gonna take them outside for, again, however long you find it necessary, and then you're gonna give them the rest of the day to finish their obby. This is gonna be a pretty easy day, honestly, in comparison with some other camps, but the whole day they're playing obbies at the start and then they're making their own and finishing it up. This is a how to download and import Minecraft worlds file. This is this must be, yeah, in this video. So watch this video. It teaches how to import Minecraft worlds that have set obbies. Yeah, that's what I was missing. So they're not going to play your created obby or each other's yet. They're going to get to play imported Minecraft obby worlds, right? They get to whatever download and use those Minecraft worlds to play different environments. Day 2, you're gonna do escape room. This is the one that takes a little bit longer. This is a second project. Essentially, let's see. Yeah, essentially the whole day is letting them create their escape room. This is day 2 is a big chunk of time to be able to get this done. If they don't finish, that's fine. You can let it seep into the next day, but you just want to have them done with it at some point. Day 3 is command blocks and new levels. This is gonna be you're gonna, how do I phrase this? Some of your students will be done with both their obbies and the escape room, and they're gonna look for something else. Like they're gonna be ahead. In the case that they're not, it's okay. You can have them work on this and this for most of the time if they don't get to finish their escape room, right? This is kind of like a bonus slash, like if they're past their escape room, you teach them the command blocks and some other things that you should watch these videos. They explain it pretty well, but you can go through this and read it. Again, pretty self-explanatory. If you don't want to teach it, you can just play this video on the screen for the students. And then day 4, finalizing. You want to make sure they wrap up everything, are able to share and present their projects. So an objective, like not milestone, or an objective benchmark is that the student should have a final product to take home on their USB drive. So they'll bring in a USB drive. So their obbies, download that onto the PC, put it on their flash drive, let them take that home. The escape room, same story. And if they want to do this extra stuff in their world and take that home too, that's totally fine. But they just make sure they have some sort of final product to take home on their USB. The instructions are also like spelled out, right? So you don't I would recommend you know how to do this beforehand, just so you're not super stressed out like Googling how to save Minecraft files. But it's here. Once again, it's all pretty laid out. Day 4 should be pretty easy for you. You're not in front of the classroom, I don't know, teaching all day or whatnot. You're just letting them present and finish up. And if they don't want to present, even easier for you. And then clean up, and go from there. Make sure they get picked up properly. And that should be the end of your 4th day, end of the week. And so you don't work Fridays. Most of the time, your AM and your PM classes will be at the same school. And in this case, it's super smooth. You usually don't even need to, rearrange laptops. You don't even need to move them from their desk. You make sure that, every student has a laptop, but it's going to be really smooth. If you have an AM at one school and a PM at a different school, you just want to make sure that you are promptly cleaned up by the end of their AM class, so that you have your hour lunch. And you will have ample time to get to your next school. In the PM class, the same thing. You want to make sure you arrive there just early enough for you. You will figure out what an early enough time is so that you can set these the equipment up for the students to have when they walk in, right? You don't want to be setting too much up and wasting too much time. But other than that, that should be what your week looks like. Once again, a lot of freedom on your end to run your classes how you want to run them, as long as you're getting through the material and are positive impact on these students camps. Michael, do you have anything to add, or Charlie, do you have any questions?
So, I mean, only one thing to add that I can think of off the bat, you covered most of it. Like when they do have snack time and stuff like that, and you do it inside the classroom, just make sure that like they don't have their water and snack next to the computers because we don't want to damage those. I've had a few kids in the class where they just have their water bottle and they like accidentally like dump it and it's like right next to computers and it's a little nerve-wracking. So just watch out for that.
Yes, yes. I just want to, yeah, re-emphasize that you are kind of the student's leader for the week. You want to make sure you manage their behavioral side. You want to manage what they're learning. You want to manage like how they're collaborating and at what pace they're moving. You kind of want to help them out in all of these areas while also um, uh, taking them out to break halfway in between or somewhere halfway in between for a duration that you seem fit. But it seems like a lot, but it moves very organically, and it is when you have a good flow going through your week, your weeks go by really smoothly. And I will say this is a very fulfilling job by the end of the week. Like these students will definitely remember you. These are summer camps, so they're taking time out of their day to like be at a summer camp to learn these things. So they're excited about it. It's important for you to manage their excitement, but also promote it because they are there to learn from you. So I'm sure you're gonna do great. Do you have any questions that you can think of?
No, I feel pretty good about it.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I don't think the job is terribly difficult, especially since you manage yourself, right? Like you as long as you're at the schools properly and you try your best to cooperate with what the school is asking of you. Some schools are going to be a little bit more strict. Some schools are going to say you have to show up 15 minutes before, and you have to like sign in. Some schools are going to be a little bit more um, lenient and kind of leave it up to you. And at that point, it's your responsibility to be there on time to make sure everything runs well, make sure everything goes according to plan. And if anything out of the ordinary happens, once again, you reach out to Michael, and he will help you out very fast with that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that, Michael?
No, yeah, just if you have any like complications, make sure to let me and Andres know. If it's not like obviously a lot of the situations that you'll be put up against, I'm hoping that you can either like kind of brainstorm it and they'll kind of be simple-ish tasks, and also make sure to kind of be friends with the people there at the schools. I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier. If you did, we can but kind of make sure that like you're super polite to the people that are at the schools already, because they're kind of gonna be your backup in case something goes wrong. If you can't connect to the Wi-Fi, something like that, just make sure you're good friends with them so that they're just kind of like willing to help you out. But yeah, worst comes to worst, just email me and we'll get it sorted out for you.
Yeah, that's an important thing. So you're not going to be left alone to teach a bunch of wild children or anything like that. These schools are usually very organized. They're going to be able to help you out with 99% of anything that you need help with. It's quick fixes. Most of the time, if your class is large, they're going to give you an assistant that's not even hired through Andres. Like they're just going to give you their assistant at the school to help out with these camps because they know how, sometimes kids get too excited or kids are a little bit hard to manage at that age. So yeah, you want to make sure that you kind of have a good relationship with the people at the school and that they're going to be really helpful to you in return. But other than that, yeah, I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure you'll do great once again. And if you don't have any questions, I think that's all.
Cool. Yeah, I'm good.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Then have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.